Good day, everyone. My name is Mr. Alexis Igloria from Lucena City. I teach at the Tucan Integrated National High School as a senior high school teacher. I also stand as the senior high school coordinator and a master teacher too. Today's lesson will be about writing project proposal. So let me share you now my screen. To give you a background about this lesson, this is one of the lessons in second quarter of the subject reading and writing. To also contextualize, this lesson plan is designed for grade 11 students, particularly humanities and social sciences students. Before I jump to the procedure, let us first familiarize ourselves with the content standards, performance standards, and learning competency. For the content standards, the learner understands the requirements of composing academic writing and professional correspondence. For performance standards, the learner is able to produce each type of academic writing and professional correspondence following the properties of well-written text and process approach to writing. For the learning competency, the learner identifies the unique features of and requirements in composing texts that are useful across disciplines, particularly project proposal. So let us now move on to the meat of this video. Let's start with the first procedure, and that is to conduct a review of the previous lesson. For the review of the previous lesson, it will be the usual and casual style of reviewing the previous lesson. So by asking them to identify the unique features of and requirements in composing a research report. So meaning to say, you will be asking the students of the things they learned from the previous lesson. After having a review and setting the mood, of course, in preparation for the next lesson, we'll be now introducing the purpose of the lesson. The teacher shows a video of a wedding proposal and students will be reacting on it. Just to show you a few seconds of the video. So this is the of the celebrity John Prats to Isabel Altman. Okay, so I'll be stopping on that point. But of course, the video will be presented to the students and they will be asked to give the reaction. So meaning it's a free way of gathering random reaction from the students. Okay, now from a random way of doing it, let's now move on to a little structured on scrutinizing the video. In this phase, they will be asked to analyze the presented video and scrutinize the process it underwent and the goal of the proposal. So let me reiterate that they will be focusing on the process and the goal of the proposal. When I say process, from the conceptualization down to the moment it can happen. And of course, they will not forget the goal of the proposal. So we can now move on to this phase of the lesson. The teacher shall relate that a wedding proposal and a project proposal share the same purpose, and that is to convince the reader to agree with or say yes. And of course, before arriving with this um, understanding, you can also ask other similarities if they see other similarities between a wedding proposal and a project proposal. Okay, now at this phase, they now have a glimpse of what they will be doing and will be discussing for the entire hour, and that is writing a project proposal. Now, let's define first project proposal. Project proposals are documents designed to present a plan of action, outline the reasons why the action is necessary, and convince the reader to agree with and approve the implementation of the actions recommended in the body of the document. In any situation, a project proposal will be clearly arranged so that readers can follow a logical progression of thought to the conclusion. Many sample proposals offer a basic guideline that can help even novices get into the swing of effective proposal writing. The guidelines usually identify five key components or sections of any project proposal: the introduction, background, strategy, budgeting or financing, and outcome. Okay. Now, after giving them the definition of project proposal, they can actually give examples of projects that had been implemented in the school. So in this way, they can also observe what's happening in the school and um, use that observation in the context of the lesson. Okay, so after doing so, this is now the point wherein you will be grouping the students. So the class will be divided into groups, and each group shall examine the given project proposal about ink positive. Students will be identifying the parts and discuss what each part discusses or constitutes or made of. So, in other words, for this phase of the lesson, you'll be giving them a model composition. Because in writing a project proposal, it is not enough that you define what is it and what is it its goal, but I think it is necessary to give them an example of what you are trying uh, or asking them to do. And that is giving them an example of a project proposal. So just to show you a glimpse about the project proposal that I will be giving my students. So these are the parts of being positive or the project being proposed. Okay, so it's in the proposal you will be seeing the title and then the rationale, and then as well as the objectives of the lesson, of course, or the project proposal, I mean, and the description, as well as the methodology, and as well as the funding source. So it's not a mere of scanning the material, but actually focusing on each part of the proposal and how it is written. Okay. So you have to ask now the students, okay, what do you understand about the which part? How is it written? So in this case, they will be looking into details of each part of the project proposal. Okay, now they had seen now a material, a project proposal. At this point, we'll be now moving on to um, preparing them for the big test. Okay, so how do you prepare them? They will be asked to stay in the same group, but in this case, they will be now writing root cause or conducting a root cause analysis. Students will think of a problem they experience in school and identify its causes. Okay. And they will be presenting the responses through a fishbowl. Okay, so identify the causes and what is the effect of it. Okay, now you will also be asking the students to present their works in front. So the whole class will be familiarized with the different problems in the school. So after doing so, they can now um, focus their attention on a specific problem and think of how they can solve the problem as part of the institution. Now, after presenting um, the root cause analysis, let's have a little feedback or monitoring of their understanding. So by giving this particular activity, which is called stoplight. In stoplight, you um, will be asking them to write in the green box something they already know or knew about the topic. And then in the yellow, they write something they learned today. And in red, they write something they didn't understand about what was discussed. So, of course, your intention of giving this activity is to focus on the things they did not understand. So, you can now somehow um, have a feedback of the things they still do not understand and go back to it and prepare them. And in doing so, you can actually prepare them in doing the much bigger test. Okay. Now, after doing this particular activity, you can now move on to the ultimate test, which is writing the project proposal. So using the root cause analysis, think of a project that would alleviate, if not solve, a specific problem senior high school students and design a project proposal following the pattern and template given. Okay. So if this will be the structure of how you will be teaching the lesson, I think the students will be arriving with a very good project proposal because you had given them an example or a model composition, and so they will be following it and using it as a pattern to make their own. So expect that they will be arriving with a good work. Okay, if this structure will be followed. Okay, now aside from presenting and submitting to you their project proposal, you can also or the students can also use their project proposal for their next subject for grade 12, which is culminating activity. In that particular subject, they are asked to do a course or a project. And if I were the students, why not implement this project proposal? Okay, so in this case, they will be helping the school um, in the long run. Okay, so again, this is how I will be teaching the students in writing project proposal. Good evening, everyone.